In football, there's a thing called 7-on-7. And that means it's football without any linemen. There are no linemen. It's receivers, quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends versus a defense. No offensive linemen, no defensive linemen. And there is some value here. There is some value in this kind of thing. And what it does is it keeps your players healthy. You can do it in the offseason without very little consequence. It's a good way to practice some stuff. But there's also a lot of misconception. So the stats from a 7-on-7 game are irrelevant. They don't matter because there's literally no offensive line and you're throwing every single play. Therefore, all of the passing stats are padded. There's no running game, so play action has basically no effect. And there's no offensive line, which means you're not really getting a realistic clock for a quarterback. A quarterback has to be able to make plays and make reads with a guy hitting him in the face or bearing down. If it's different, it's one thing to make the right read when there's no pressure. It's another thing to make the right read when there's a 300-pound guy about to hit you. And so for all those reasons, you can't really put a lot of value into 7-on-7. There's some value, but you can't put a ton of value into it because it's actually not real football. But there are still small things you can take away. You can take away, oh, that guy's a really great athlete. He's really fast. He can jump. You can take away athleticism. You can also take away leadership. How does the guy act around his guys? Is he encouraging? Is he yelling? Is he angry? And you can also judge effort really well with 7-on-7. Those are the three things with 7-on-7 you can get 100% of the time. You can always judge athleticism, leadership, and effort. And the point for this is that without linemen, football is not the same. You can't put too much value on a 7-on-7 game because you're missing a lot of what makes it the sport it is. Summer League basketball is the same way. Summer League basketball is very similar. You don't have any stars. You don't have any veterans. You don't have any all-stars. You don't have a lot of even good young players. It's a lot of guys who are rookies or second-year players, and it's not a real honest look at what it's going to be like in the league. So I want to talk about this. When the Knicks drafted Michael Knox, I was really excited because Michael Knox can hit threes. And that's cool. Not everybody drafted in the top 10 is a great three-point shooter. And so when the Knicks drafted Michael Knox, I was like, that's a great draft pick. I feel really good about it. But what's interesting is in the NBA Summer League, Michael Knox has had a ton of impressive dunks. He's been really good around the rim. And he averages about 23 points a game. And I don't know that that's a realistic look at Michael Knox. I think it looks great now. But I'm very curious, is Michael Knox the same player when he's going up against Kevin Durant, LeBron James? The obvious answer is no, he's not going to be. Another thing, in contrast, the Hawks rookie Trae Young had really struggled early on in the NBA Summer League. But down the last couple games, Trae Young has improved. I think he went from averaging 11 points to 23 points a game. And, Trae Young is passing well. He's shooting some better threes. And it's encouraging. And the thing is, you want rookies to look good at this time of the year. In the NBA Summer League, you want a rookie to look like a really good player. Because anytime you take the court, you want something encouraging. You want them to dominate. In fact, it'd be more concerning if they weren't dominating. But even if they are dominating in the NBA Summer League, I would not read too much into it. Because it's not quite the same. Similar to football without linemen, the NBA Summer League is missing the stars. It's missing the veterans. It's just a bunch of young players. And I would not read too much into their stats. I want to see Michael Knox dunk in the regular season on NBA veterans. And I want to see if Trae Young can handle the physicality of an actual 30-year-old man guarding him. Because he looks like he's struggling against 22-year-olds that aren't physically fully formed out. And the one thing you can read into, so again, 7-on-7 isn't useless, and the NBA Summer League is not useless. Stats may not be exactly perfect, but there are things you can learn from it. There are things you can take away from the NBA Summer League. Here's one thing I have seen that you can absolutely take away from the NBA Summer League. Grayson Allen is an awesome professional basketball player. Grayson Allen is the guy from Duke. He had controversies. He got in trouble for tripping. And the reason why I like Grayson Allen and I've liked the way he's played in the NBA Summer League is because I don't like his stats. It's not about his stats. It's about his style of play. Grayson Allen is the rookie for the Utah Jazz. He is chippy. He has a bunch of effort on defense. He's very physical. He's aggressive. That's one of the things you can take away is how does he work with others? He works well with others. He is very physical on defense. He's showing, hey, I can bring something to the table. I might not be the best athlete. I might not have the best jump shot, best handles, but I can give you a bunch of effort on defense. That is what I like. That is what I like, is to see a guy like Grayson Allen competing his butt off. So I would not read too much into stats. I would not read too much into Michael Knox. I believe in Michael Knox. Michael Knox can shoot. It's really encouraging that he looks good at the rim, but I would not get too excited yet. He still has a lot to prove. And Trae Young. Before you judge Trae Young, honestly, I would give him 3 more years. He looks like a 16-year-old. He is a skinny shell of what he will be in 3 years from now. I think give Trae Young 3 years in the weight room to develop, learn how to play in the NBA. He looks good. It's encouraging. He's got some really good ability passing the ball. He occasionally hits some crazy threes. That's exciting. And I think he's going to get even more consistent as he goes on. But the key thing that I saw in the NBA Summer League, the one that I can read the most into is Grayson Allen. I'm not sure if Trae Young is going to develop. I'm not sure if Michael Knox is. Probably, right? A betting man would say Michael Knox would probably develop. I feel less good about Trae Young. But what I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt is Grayson Allen will be in the league. He's a 10-year player. I don't care. He has great effort on defense. He will be in the league for a while. You never know. Trae Young could flame out. I don't believe Grayson Allen will because it's not about his stats. It's not about his jump shot. It's about the way he plays, his defensive effort. That is what I read into with Grayson Allen. If he brings that in the regular season, it's going to be fantastic. So that's it, man. I wouldn't read too much into the NBA Summer League. I really wouldn't. Don't overreact. I think that at this time of the year, networks are trying to build up hype, which I'm okay with. Frankly, I love the storylines the NBA Summer League is giving us. I mean, will Trae Young succeed? Will Trae Young fail? I don't know. And that's far more interesting to me right now than Major League Baseball is. I just don't care about the NBA regular season. So I would just tell you, be cautious with the NBA Summer League stories. They're interesting. They're far more exciting to me than regular season baseball. But just temper your expectations a little bit. Be careful, because it's not quite real basketball just yet. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember, if you want to help Strong Opinion Sports grow, you can share this with your friends on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, whatever it is. Help me grow Strong Opinion Sports by telling your friends about this show. And always remember, you can subscribe to Strong Opinion Sports on iTunes, on SoundCloud, everywhere you can find a podcast, as well as YouTube. My full entire podcast is on YouTube, as well as shorter, more interesting clips like this. So thank you so much. Have a great day, and take care.